What is up, everybody? Welcome back with another episode of the Lava Lamp Podcast. It is your host, Ryan Motter. Join with me, as always, we have the man, Jay Brandt, and we have the man, Sava Lava. And we got some things to go over with y'all today. We're excited about. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go check out the other episodes, show them some love, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to stay tuned for future uploads. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, boys, we got some things here this week. So, I got a pretty wild story that I think most of you people out there may know this, but probably don't, honestly, because I didn't really know this. I mean, I had heard about it a little bit as a kid, but didn't really know the depth of it. Right. So, this story is about Bruce Lee's kid. So, Bruce Lee had a kid named Brandon Lee. So, Brandon Lee, he died in 1993, okay? Now, with that being said, Brandon was born in 1965, so he was only 28 years old when he passed away. So, it says here that when Brandon was 8 years old, that's when his father, Bruce Lee, passed away, which is kind of crazy, right? So he grew up the majority of his life without his dad, but Brandon did decide to follow into the footsteps of Bruce Lee and decided to become a film star and martial artist, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
So he did a couple of movies throughout the years that kind of mirrored he did a Kung Fu movie series. So it was kind of going into the martial arts stuff. But where this story gets wild is how Brandon passed away. So Brandon was in a movie called The Crow.
The Crow.
So Jordan does know about this from the sounds of it. So on March 31st, 1993, Brandon Lee was filming a scene for the film The Crow, which is a horror movie, in which his character is shot and killed by thugs. In the scene, Lee's character walks into his apartment and discovers his fiancée being beaten, and a thug, played by actor Michael Massey, fires a Smith & Wesson model 629.44 Magnum revolver at Lee's character as he walks into the room. In a film shoot prior to the fatal scene, the gun that was used as a prop, a real revolver, was loaded with improperly made dummy rounds. So, basically, when they went to film the scene, the actor that was holding the prop gun fired a a dummy round, and the dummy round went off and killed Lee.
What?
Yeah. So, in a movie he was filming, bro, it's kind of low-key reminds me of more recently the Alec Baldwin thing.
I was about to say that, yeah.
You know, where he was filming that movie and he
Baldwin
shot off the gun and accidentally killed somebody, you know. It's kind of similar to that, but it's pretty wild. And the fact that he is Bruce Lee's son, that kind of makes it more of a story that kind of catches your eye, you know what I mean? Because it's I'm curious what happened to Bruce Lee's kid, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize as a kid that was Bruce Lee's son, you know what I mean? But it's kind of a whole wild thing, man. And it's just, rest in peace, Brandon Lee, bro.
R.I.P.
And rest in peace, Bruce.
You want to hear some shady stuff?
Kinda.
So, do y'all know how Bruce Lee died?
How?
Bad aspirin.
Oh.
Really?
Want to know how Bruce Lee got good at what he did before he was an actor? He was a bagman for the Asian mob. So he went and roughed people up to get money out of them.
Okay.
So you can imagine if you made a living doing that.
You'd be pretty good at martial arts.
Well, not only that, you probably made a lot of enemies. And then you left, came to America, thought you was cool, got crazy famous. You think people didn't still have a grudge?
True.
So they probably took him and his son out. My personal take. Because those were both shady deaths to me.
Yeah.
Him and his son. The healthiest martial arts takes a bad aspirin.
Yeah,
Who has died of a bad aspirin?
Same thing with like the Michael Jackson situation, bro. You know what I mean?
Well, I just saw in the news.
The Crow is great though. Like if you haven't seen The Crow, put that. It is crazy to watch it now, how it's filmed. But
when I was growing up, my best friend at the time, his name was Ash, and his middle name was actually taken from that movie. So like his parents named him because of that movie. His middle name was Draven, which I guess is like a name of like one of the characters in that movie. So I just think that that's always kind of cool too. I've never seen the movie, but I do want to watch it.
it's wild.
I think it would be worth watching at some point. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like they wanted it to be like a superhero movie. In the 90s, they did a lot of like dark. Like obviously Batman was huge, and Batman's like the most popular dark hero because he's hiding in the darkness, and you know what I mean, and all that. So the Crow was a good guy. He was fighting crime. The dude who played the replacement for him damn near looked identical to Brandon Lee. Because like the first, like as you were saying, like it was the beginning of the movie.
Right.
So they literally filmed like the first scene and was like, bam. And then they were like,
That's
oh wow, our
crazy,
lead
dude.
just got shot.
Yeah, that's wild.
And
What
again,
the
that's...
fuck?
I don't know. I've never worked on a Hollywood set, so I've never had to be like, hey, this is the scene, load this type of dummy round, and maybe there's one that's meant for like short range, long range, something that's like supposed to be really loud, something that's supposed to just show a pop. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never worked. I've worked with regular firearms, not like dummy rounds, so to speak. So I do know they have like a cartridge and a propellant, so they're still firing some type of projectile. It just doesn't have the bullet itself on top.
Right.
But I mean, I can't imagine something that still throws lead at you thousands of feet per second if it's aimed properly and still spitting fire. It probably can take you out. But in your case, like you were saying, like the dude loaded a 44 Magnum with like a real bullet.
Yeah.
Well, what I don't get too is like low key when you look at like the way, like there's so many different like ways you can film stuff in Hollywood, right? So like you could technically have had somebody on camera like take a shot, but it doesn't have to be showing that it's aimed at Lee. It could be like from like this is where the camera's at, right? And it's showing the hand taking the shot, and then you cut, and then you have Lee pretend to be shot, you know what I mean? Instead of actually having him get shot with a dummy round. Like that just causes more risk.
Leave it to Lee to mess up a dummy round. Hey, we're going to use a dummy round, Lee.
Right. I was thinking about making a raccoon coat for a joke, but I was like, that would be insensitive for Lee.
Inside joke, but that's how Lee got the knot. That's a whole other story, but the story of Lee, knot-headed Lee. He got that knot from a dummy round, dude, and it stuck to him. It was supposed to take him out, but it just stuck, and he's just dumber than a box of rocks. Lee, if you watching, you dumb as a box of rocks, dude. I still love you, bro. You know, dude.
I just want to know, Lee, if you watch it, dog, out of all the shoes you could have got back in the day, bro, why did you go with the Curry?
You got the Steph Currys. You got the Steph Currys. I just want to know, bro. You could never live that down. He was walking down like he was on red carpet, and it turned to lava real quick. They started cooking his ass. Everybody, hey, what is that, bro?
What are those?
Oh, it was before that, so I mean, they said some shit we can't say.
That's wild.
You know, but he got, as the kids say, he got cooked.
He got roasted.
He got cooked. Cooking.
Roasted.
Damn.
He was all cap.
Yeah, for sure.
He really was. That's if you know him, he's all cap. I'm just gonna say it. Everything. To say it in a non-street way, he's a contrarian. There's always that one guy who has to root for a team or do something that's against the grain to be on everybody's nerves. And that's that guy. You know what I mean? Like, you go to the heart of Dallas, Texas or something, and it's like you wear something that's not the Cowboys, and you're born from there. It's like you're a contrarian, bro.
Yeah.
But I will say this. So, it's one thing if it's like Florida versus Florida State, right?
Exactly.
And it's like you live in the state of Florida, so like you can still root for Florida even if you're living in where like Florida State's at. You know what I mean? But if it's fucking like Ohio State versus Michigan and you're living in Ohio, but
Yep.
you're a diehard Michigan fan. That's got to be some of the most corniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Vice versa. If you're living in
True,
Michigan and you're a fucking diehard Buckeye fan, bro, why don't you just fucking come to Ohio, dude? You
They
know what I
probably
mean?
feel. They honestly probably feel the same way we do. Like, say you're in like Ann Arbor or Detroit or something, and a dude rolls up in Ohio State jersey, and they're like born from there. They're probably like, "There's Eddie."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No,
And there's
for real.
always one, and we
But
do
you
the
know,
same shit.
That's wild.
What's
Dude's
funny
born in
is
Columbus and was like, "What? I've been repping Michigan day one." It's like, bro, you're born here.
my brother lives
These
in
are your
Michigan,
neighbors.
right? And so every time I go up to visit my brother, I know I'll be staying for like maybe 2 to 3 days, right? Typically when I go up there. So one of my outfits I always make sure to bring is a fucking like all out Buckeye shit.
For
So
sure.
even though I'm in like Michigan, I'm like making it known, like, yeah, just a Buckeye boy. You know what I mean? Fuck with me, dog.
Yeah,
We
get
got
it,
some
dog.
champions.
Yeah, national champions.
2024, baby.
LavaLabs.com get you OSU champs right now. Available. They going fast.
That's right. You know where to find them.
You're gonna see it. You gonna see them at Foodies,
That's right.
July 4th, 5th, and 6th. Friday,
4th,
Saturday,
5th,
Sunday.
and 6th.
4th through the 6th. You know where to find us.
Tanger outlets.
Tanger outlets in Columbus. You know where to be. AKA
3-day foodie fest. You can get on there now. They might have 3-day passes, and from my understanding, that is the cop to get because you get in there 3 days and you're getting a deal. And I think you get like maybe a mug.
This is
Or
gonna
there's
be
something.
legit.
I'm not a spokesman for foodies, but they do have a 3-day pass, and that's the.
So you're
the
telling
deal.
me these people are paying to get into a place where they're paying to eat some food?
for 3 days.
Damn.
Go there
This place
each
is
day.
this must be legit.
So
I got
dollar
it.
get it.
I got a deal for y'all that are watching. Those of you that are actual, real Lava Labs, Lava Lamp podcast fans, if you come up to us at Foodies and tell us you saw this episode, and you can tell me the word cooking, you're going to get a free koozie with your t-shirt when you buy one. Just let that be known. You know what I'm saying? So if you come up and say cooking, we gonna hook you up with that free koozie with your purchase.
The more emphasis you put on it, maybe we'll do something else for you.
Hey,
If you really set the tone and you create a good vibe when you're cooking, maybe it'll go past a free koozie, but that's where it starts. Lava Labs.
LavaLabs.com.
that's right.
Yeah, Lava Labs is the shit, though.
So the next
real.
thing,
Yeah. We seen him at that Yellow Springs Fest, bro. They was
hey,
cooking.
it was
You really
looking
want to talk about
pretty
cooking.
crisp. Hey, we might have
Talk
to
about
put up some
cooking.
in the post. That
Rain
we
or
might have to
shine.
put up a little video somebody I know took that shows a little bit of our display. You know what I'm saying? But this next thing we got for y'all, a little interesting thing I saw. Well, I shouldn't say I saw it. Your boy decided to cook it up. But what we saw here was a little childhood nostalgia draft, right? So
Ooh, okay.
this is saying you can only keep 3. The ultimate childhood nostalgia draft. Now, the only thing I will say before y'all start trying to cook us in the comments, I do know there's a little bit about this that's kind of messed up, right? So if we're talking about shows, right?
True.
There's a couple of duplicates, right? You've got Pikachu and Ash Ketchum. You've
Oh,
got the
yeah.
Rugrats dude, and the dude above him is also from Rugrats.
I took it as
You
like
know what I mean?
it was pick 3
Characters
exactly.
that you could keep from your childhood that made an impact on you, right? So typically I would probably start this out, but I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts on this first.
I just want to say this is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
I looked at this. I seen this before we were doing this episode, folks. Full disclosure, I still am like on the fence about what I'm even going to do.
I know.
I know more. Like there's a couple I know I'm definitely not throwing in my 3, but there's someone who's going to be left out that I'm going to be like, when y'all are like, this is
know.
why I picked them.
Yep,
You know,
Yep.
Because like when you think about it, all of these shows in a way impacted our childhood. So when you can only pick 3, to think about where your childhood would be without some of those characters you had to leave out, it's kind of a weird spot, you know, because it's like, man, I really don't know what it would have been like without seeing some of these shows and some of these people, you know what I mean?
True.
But then again, if we didn't know who they were, it would have been replaced by somebody else. You know what I mean? Like for Pokemon, for
Yeah.
example, if Pikachu didn't exist, there would just be some other Pokemon that was like the headliner of the series. You know what I mean? So,
And there's so many. I mean, it could be Charizard, and you still might pick that because it's a Pokemon.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go first on this if y'all don't mind.
Sure, brother.
Because number one, I'm gonna do this from like the most to the least. Number one, no question for me, is Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Scooby-Doo was, I grew up in a time before all your Netflix and all that jazz. My family was Poe. Couldn't even afford to pay attention type shit. We had 4, 6, and 10, and 28. 5 channels. 5 channels. Couldn't even afford to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? The cockroaches gave us scraps.
All right. We got Scooby-Doo.
But so anyways, 10 a.m., Scooby-Doo would come on for like 2 hours.
Yep.
And I mean, that was magical because that's what I had. Once it was over with, I think it was a show I didn't want to watch, or my parents was like, okay, you got to give up the TV because people had one TV back then.
Damn. Yeah. All right.
So
you got
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Number 2, I'm going to do Tommy Pickles.
Okay.
I feel
I can respect that.
Which one's Tommy
Rugrats,
Pickles?
he's to the right of
Rugrats.
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That was a leader of men. All of Rugrats, I don't want to get too deep into it. Chef's kiss. Rugrats is, whoever did that is a fucking genius.
Hey, we're going to have to do an episode on Rugrats.
You know what I mean? I think they're like, something else may have gotten it now, but they were the first cartoon or like animated thing to get an Emmy or an Oscar.
Wow.
Because like they wouldn't give it to stuff like that way back in the day because it was like how we look at AI now.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we're never going to give an award to stuff that doesn't have real people in it. But the Rugrats did something. It was a special. And it was a Christmas special, and it like explained every religion's version of like their holidays, and it was perfect. Like it broke down like Hanukkah, Christmas, you name it. And it didn't take a stance. It just was like perfect. The little kids like breaking it down.
Nice.
So Tommy Pickles is number 2, very close to.
Yep.
And then this was hard for me because I wanted to say Bugs Bunny because I was still older than you guys and I did watch a lot of Looney Tunes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm a front and ass dude if I don't say Ash Ketchum. The journey of him and like his love of Pokemon and all the people that respect him for being just a down ass dude.
The movie is the best.
Yeah. Well, because he got the whole point of it. Everybody gets caught up because we want to play it and win. Mm-hmm. And the point of Pokemon when you watched it was to catch them all and learn about them and be their friends.
Yep.
Dude let Pokemon go. Back in the day, you wouldn't let a full leveled Butterfree go.
No,
and
bro.
Dude was like, you need to go be wild. I
Intense...
cried as a little kid watching that episode.
Yeah, dude.
I remember being like 7 years old, my mom being like, what's wrong? I'm like, dude, you just let Butterfree go. It's the butter lady, yo.
It's the butter lady.
You're not alone, bro. So, like, so many people, like, love that episode. There's actually a group I'm in. I'm going to try to find it here. There's a Pokemon group that
it went deep, dude.
And
yeah,
this
it really
dude,
did.
He's got a girlfriend that like does like she's really good at artistic stuff.
Stay in the mic,
he's
buddy.
he's really good at like woodworking, right?
Yeah.
So they like work together, and she made this like dope Butterfree like drawing like from that episode, right?
Yeah.
And he like woodcrafted it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but bro, it is so dope. Like it looks fire, bro, and like it is wild how. You know, you're talking about Ash Ketchum, like how he low-key had a lot of Pokemon throughout his entire, like, series, or you want to call it, I guess, because it wasn't just the first Pokemon series. He was in a lot of the series, basically up to date, until the more recent ones, where now there's different antagonists.
Right,
He's not in them anymore.
He just recently, like, got booted off of
and
it.
I think mainly the reason was because people are getting smarter and, like, coming, which it is a show, so, like, you have to give them, like...
Yeah.
flack there. Like, you can't fucking expect everything to be realistic. But, like, people were starting to give it flack, like, bro, Ash Ketchum's been 10 years old for 20 years. What's going on here? You know what I mean?
My only thing in closing I'll say, because we can go on a tangent about Pimons all day, is Ash Ketchum. He was soft a lot of the time. Like he'd always, oh, I didn't know, because it was like a girl who voiced him. Which I met the actual girl. She was cool.
Oh yeah.
But my thing was like, you knew dude was about to win that fight when homie did the old hat slick back. You was like, oh, he's cooking.
Oh yeah, cooking.
You know? That's it. You just it was over with. You knew he was gonna win the battle, because that was like Pikachu was gonna beat like a type he shouldn't have beat by just getting mad.
All right, so you chose Scooby Doo, Tommy Pickles, and Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
All right, Slava, let's see what you got to say about this.
All right. I've been looking at this. I know you're about a generation as far as like shows go.
Low key,
like
what's wild is like we're all like a different generation of shows.
Well, let's see.
Probably 2 from Dala, 1 from Mason.
Yep. Let's see how this goes here. So, man, this is tough.
That's what I said in the beginning. Like that was my disclaimer. Like all these characters I fucking rocked with.
So I'm not gonna lie, like I gotta stick with Timmy Turner.
Ooh,
that's my boy.
All right, is that number 1?
I mean, are we doing it in orders?
I did mine. You don't have to.
Okay.
I did mine from 1 to 3. Like 1's best.
All right. Let me see here. I mean, honestly, like you said, Ash Ketchum, I would say that too, but I don't really remember the anime as much anymore.
Okay.
So like, I
You
didn't
remember
watch
the video games.
Yeah. So I'm more of like a
Was
red.
that Indigo League? I think was the first Pokemon Indigo League. It's like what the video series was.
It might have. Yeah, I think so.
I think so, because that's all the people at the end, right? Is Indigo after you get all the badges and beat Giovanni.
Yeah.
Giovanni.
And then you got the not Fantastic Four. I almost said.
Yeah.
The fucking what's it called, bro?
Ruby?
Help me out here.
What?
The Elite Four.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I said the Fantastic Four.
Really, honestly, if you were that dude, the Elite Four was the first time like playing that game where you got challenged.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anybody else, like obviously we didn't know what you were doing yet. Maybe you struggled, but the Elite Four was the first time we were like, oh, okay.
I ain't even gonna lie, and so a lot of people give a lot of flack to the Diamond and Pearl version they made for the Switch, which was like the remake of Diamond and Pearl for the DS. And I have to say this, bro. Cynthia is low key a pretty good champion.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like it took me like 1 or 2 tries on the reboot with my shiny team I had to beat her, because like I didn't plan to like have everybody at a certain level before I fought her or whatever. You know what I mean? Once I got through the certain point, I just went ahead and faced her. But like once I faced her twice or something like that, I went back and beat her ass. But low key, Cynthia is pretty dope. And I have to say, Sinnoh is my favorite Pokemon region. Although I've never gotten to play the Alola region, which is Sun and Moon. And the Alola region is based on Hawaii, which I was born in Hawaii. So I think... They might low key take the crown if I ever get to try them, but until I get to try them, Sinnoh is my go-to.
All right. So anyway,
Timmy Turner, Ash Ketchum.
No, I didn't say Ash Ketchum. No,
we just went on a tangent.
That's what I'm saying. We're circling it back here.
Sorry, boys.
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna do this in order then. So number 3, we're doing 3, right? Yeah. Number 3 is gonna have to be for me. Aang's my boy.
Okay.
Hey, I'm glad you included my boy.
Yeah,
Aang.
yeah.
If I could give you a knuckle bust, I would. You know what I'm saying?
Busting.
Because he's my number 1. I have to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we got Aang up there. Only reason why is because I really like the series, like the original anime series. It's awesome, dude. So that's gonna be number 3. I remember most of that. I'm gonna base this based off of like how much I watched it and remember and like kind of remember things from it that I, for example, like, okay, I'll just keep going. Timmy Turner's number 2. That's my boy. Fairly Odd Parents was my shit, bro.
Was a dope ass show.
Yep, that was my shit.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger fairy was my favorite.
Timmy Turner. Yeah. Jorgen Von Strangle.
Jorgen.
Yeah.
Yep. He was my dude. Do Rules. You know what I'm saying?
I liked the dark versions of like Cosmo and Wanda too, like the what were they called?
The anti.
Oh yeah,
I think it might have been anti. Yeah,
the
like,
anti.
that you could go down
anti-fairies,
loophole, bro, for Fairly Odd Parents.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
It was like his like parents were all passed away in a car wreck, and he had like put it all in his mind. That's why he had the fairies.
If you guys don't already, after this episode, you should probably check out on Facebook. You can follow him, Butch Hartman. He's the guy that drew.
Butch.
He drew originally. Butch. He was the designer of Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom. So like on Facebook, he's always posting like stuff of like him drawing like the designs over again for people and like talking about like I saw one video he did where he was talking about how he gave his life over to Christ and like how his life changed after that. I thought that was pretty cool, honestly. Like to see somebody that made like shows we grew up with talking about his journey through that, and somebody that's like deep in Hollywood like that because of his affiliation with Nickelodeon, and to be more on that side is pretty dope, bro. So shouts out Butch.
Timmy Ang Turner.
All right, so we got Ang number 3, Timmy Turner number 2, and then number 1. I'm saying this because I can always quote this show all the time. Like, there's always some situation that happens where you can quote this show. My boy SpongeBob.
I knew it, bro.
Yeah, SpongeBob's my dude. Yeah.
Remember that part?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
SpongeBob boy. You know, I have to say this about SpongeBob. Technique. I think the most sus episode, like if you're really looking at it without all the edits they've added to it years later, when you're looking at the actual like sus episodes, is that episode where Patrick has that box where he's talking about he has that picture of SpongeBob at the party. And, like, they won't show you what it is, bro. You know SpongeBob was getting down, he was about to bang.
Have you seen the episode? Have you seen the episode where...
Oh, no. All right.
Have you seen the episode where SpongeBob's trying to give Gary a bath? And he won't get in the bath.
Gary's wild, dude.
There's a joke in there where he's like giving him soap and he's acting like a pirate and he's like, "Oh, treasure." And he like hands him soap and he goes, "Don't drop him." Yeah, bro, like straight up, bro, straight up. Crazy.
I had a comment, but I'm not even going to
it's the adult humor in this. That's why I like going back into these like cartoons.
Because you know what's crazy
bro.
About that? When you really think deeper into that, I'm going to like kind of say it now, but he was telling Gary, don't drop the soap, right? And he was like acting like a pirate when he said that, right? What are pirates after? Booty.
Booty. All right, so that's my list there. Aang, Timmy Turner, SpongeBob.
$4 hits it. Please note for the record, we didn't have any overlaps.
What do you mean?
Like,
so far,
we had two totally different sets.
Yep, true.
Very interesting.
All right, Dollar, what you got?
Unfortunately, I have to overlap a little bit because I guess I'll go 3, 2, 1 like you did.
Yeah.
Man, my third option here is pretty hard. I don't know who to go 2 and I don't know who to go 3. So I know who to go 1 solid out. You know what? I'm gonna actually go 1, 2, 3 because I'm gonna have to say this. The reason Aang is my number 1 is Avatar: The Last Airbender is the only show out of all of these that I've went out of my way to buy all 3 seasons for. I own all 3 seasons of that. I own all the seasons of Legend of Korra. So I definitely do fuck with the Avatar story.
For sure.
And I think that as a kid, I always liked it. But then as an adult, when I went back and watched it, bro, it is so in depth and like it's so dope.
Me and Liv watched it not too long ago.
It's sick,
probably like half a year ago.
It's definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it all the way through. I definitely recommend it.
All right, so him number 1 for Aang.
You know, I have to say that while I love Pokemon and I definitely love Fairly Odd Parents, I really can't imagine my childhood without Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, But at the same time, like, I didn't really, as a kid, I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, but I played a lot of the video games. And then as I got older, I kind of watched it and then played more of the video games as they came out. So it's hard to imagine life without Goku. But at the same time, bro, I really can't imagine my childhood at all without Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob. Because I remember vividly watching those so much.
Yep.
At my grandparents' house or wherever I was.
This is a tough. I honestly don't know who the person is that's next to SpongeBob. Who is that?
I think it's supposed to be SpongeBob, bro.
Bro, who the fuck is the next to him?
That's
on
what
the
I'm
right?
saying. I don't know who that is.
That's like a light beer version. That's like older.
Next to SpongeBob.
Bro, the guy above. You mean the guy next?
Yeah, the dude
I
above
don't
Tommy
know.
Pickles, bro. That dude literally looks like
That's
a.
from the Rugrats, bro. That's one of the.
No, I'm talking about the guy next to SpongeBob. Who is that?
This guy.
That's Cool Barrington.
Cool Barrington.
Flavorton.
Is that one just made up?
The middle two are just made up characters, bro. Chat, let us know. Like, interact here.
No.
If the middle two are good, let us know.
The one on the right middle is Tommy's dad.
I'm calling Cap. I don't think either of those two are.
No. That blue guy
That's
from
Tommy's dad.
the guy with the blue hair, I vividly remember.
That's
from
definitely
Rugrats.
not Tommy's dad.
That's
not Stu Pickles,
He wasn't
bro.
a dad, but he was in the show. He was one of the kids.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the kids in Rugrats. I do remember that motherfucker.
Right here, though.
The
Was it
guy
like in the
with
teen
blue
Rugrats?
hat.
Teen Rugrats, maybe?
Here's the cool thing, everybody. On the count of 3, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna name what our fourth would have been. If we did. So 1, 2, 3. Dexter's Laboratory.
Ooh, I was gonna say that, but I said Goku.
You both said Goku.
Yeah.
That was. See, this is such a hard fucking list, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Because I'm thinking, like, realistically, as a kid, I watched more Fairly Odd Parents, and I love Fairly Odd Parents. But when I'm thinking of, like, if I can only keep 3, Goku's so badass that I just can't be like, we don't keep Goku.
See, I would still watch Dragon Ball Z, but I really wouldn't watch like Rugrats or Dexter's Lab. So that's why for me, I didn't put Goku on it, because it's like that's something I would still watch.
But it wasn't like one of your top, which
Yeah,
I
like
understand.
as a
like,
child,
for sure.
from a child's mind is how I made this. So like Scooby Doo, that's why I told my like boomer story of being like back in the day, you had one channel.
If you count the top 4, because I have to count Dexter in this as like the top 4. If you talk about like the most badass though, and like as a kid, if you're looking up to him as like how much shit they did, Goku, Aang, Dexter, and Ash Ketchum are probably like the most that actually really and Scooby Doo.
Yeah, they
like,
were
solved
heroes.
mysteries.
Yeah, Scooby
You know what I
like
mean?
lucked into them where they would just get caught in the trap.
He
the
was
smart
just
people
part of the
made.
group, right?
And let's talk about the fact him and Shaggy were just burning down, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Every episode, they're like, "Where's the food at?"
Have you
Yep.
seen,
They're getting caught in the trap they planned. Come on now.
You know how they did the live action movies? They did 1 and 2, right?
Yep,
The first one where they go to that island
that was great.
on the plane, bro. Shaggy's sitting there, and this girl comes up that's about to like take the seat next to him, and she tells him his name. She tells him it's Mary Jane, and he's like, "Oh, that's like my favorite."
She was
ever.
a baddie too, bro.
She was a little baddie, but she ended
They're
up being
bad for
evil.
that.
Dude, the best part is one of the first times you see where they're like, I wonder what Shaggy and Scooby's been up to. It like pans to this B-roll clip of a van with smoke rolling out of the top.
bro. And
They're grilling like eggplant, but like as the adults in the movie theater were like, yeah, that's doobie snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
But yeah.
we know what's up, dude. The guy's always talking to the dog.
Yep.
That's some stoner shit from Rip. Now, granted, I feel like most people talk to dogs now.
Yeah,
So,
I
I do.
You know, I saw.
They understand me,
both.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
Bro.
I mean, do my cats even understand me?
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, buddy, it ain't time for dinner. And
I
they're
saw
like,
this article.
I got you, but I ain't got you.
Bruh, I saw this article, like I think it was yesterday, about dogs are actually evolving.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Based on like how much time they've spent next to humans, they're literally
yeah.
they're riding fucking trains and shit. Like in China, like they're literally like they're adapting to being able to like do all this stuff. Like I think in realistic capacity here, in the next 10 to 20 years, you might see some Brian Griffin motherfuckers walking around just like, hey, yo, Peter.
Where the beer's at, dog?
Maybe. I mean, AI might be able to do that, but we don't know how like conscious they really are. You know what I mean?
Beyond all that, I'm just saying I trust a bunch of random dogs where I trust a lot of random people.
For sure.
And I love people. I've had a lot of good experiences in my life with random strangers. Shout out Pickle Rick. And it's like, but I've never been attacked by a dog. And like, not that people that have, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm just saying that like, I really fuck with animals.
For sure.
And a dog, I've always just, like, they came out tomorrow and they was like, hey, the whole world's got to just listen to this dog. I'd be like, bet. Yeah, we're cool. You know what I mean? Give him a belly rub.
Exactly.
And like, we'll be cool.
Nah,
exactly.
For sure, bro. I think that animals really are dope. And I think that animals have like I don't want to say necessarily a sixth sense, but like that's kind of like the word I'm looking for here. I kind of
something extra.
You know, it's like they can sense certain things, and like
Absolutely.
we had talked about, cats and dogs are a little bit different of like what they kind of can sense. You know, like cats are more of like the spirit realm or whatever, and like dogs are more like the whatever. But I do think that in reality, dogs, in a way, you have to admit, are man's best friend. You know what I mean? Like, there are times where they go out and they attack people, but half the time it's how that dog was raised that caused him to end up doing that in the first place. You know what I mean? So,
or what was you doing to the dog?
Right.
Before we said what the dog doing, what were you doing to the dog?
Yeah. Nah, for sure.
Well, yeah, that's our list, guys.
Hey, we appreciate
that was a good list,
you guys. Hey, I appreciate
a good one right there.
Man.
That made you think right there.
Yeah,
that wasn't like no BS like forward this to your grandma or you'll break your back. You remember that?
Yeah, those
forwards.
Yeah,
bro,
that's bullshit.
Those things are definitely bullshit. I remember as a kid, bro. Like I remember seeing ones where it was like, if you didn't share this, so and so would come in your room at night, blah blah blah. And me and my friends would be like, kind of like stressed out about it. But and there would be ones also I don't like nowadays. I see ones where it's like, if you don't share this post, you don't believe in Jesus as your savior. Too. And it's like, bro, I don't have to share a post to declare that Jesus is my savior.
I'm gonna come.
I mean? Like,
yeah, that's just like, I don't know. That's a weird way to try to get clout
type shit. Yeah.
Yeah, clickbait, weird stuff right there.
China,
everywhere. Oh, sad. We appreciate every single one of y'all that tuned in today. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to stay tuned for future uploads. And go ahead and show them other episodes some love. Leave a comment. Make us know what you guys are thinking. Kind of fucked that up there, but oh well, roll with it. And we will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye, D.
Bye.